Greetings, and thank you for joining us for our Sip and Sail Cocktail Hour, a celebration of Bavarian culture on the Danube. Before we begin, we'd like to make a few friendly reminders. This is a live and interactive event, and we'd love your participation. If you're joining us on Facebook or YouTube channel, please type your questions in the comment section. If you're joining us on GoToWebinar, please use the Questions tab on the GoToWebinar menu. Our team of friendly multilingual moderators are excited to respond to you in real time. At the end of our hour together, we will also address some of your questions during a live Q&A session. It is now my pleasure to introduce to you our hosts for today. Co-founder and Executive Vice President of AmaWaterways, the ever-sparkling Kristin Karst. Hello, Kristin.
Hello, Sonja. Hello, everyone. Guten Morgen, guten Abend. We look forward to a wonderful hour together with you.
Thank you. And of course, co-owner and Senior Vice President of Sales, the charming Gary Murphy. Hello, Gary.
Well, hello, Sonja. And hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Yes, my name is Gary Murphy. My parents are from Ireland. I was born on Staten Island, New York, but I just like to wear lederhosen whenever the time allows me to.
we wish you all and we wish you all a beautiful sailing through Germany and good Reise.
So welcome everyone and thank you for joining us. October is German American Heritage Month, and as you all know or hear from my own accent, I was not born in California where our office is. I was actually born in Germany. I grew up in the beautiful city of Dresden when it was considered part of communist East Germany. So that's a long time ago now, but in fact, it is now 30 years because October the 3rd marked the 30th anniversary of the reunification of East and West Germany, which eliminated these travel restrictions and joyfully reunited families within Germany who had been separated for years. So for me, what did this mean? I was not able to travel to the Western world until the wall came down, but I was able to see all the countries in the East, and my parents were very passionate about travel, took my brother and me to that side, but I was so happy, like everyone else, when the Berlin Wall came down. And sometimes with the times we are in here today, when we are not able to freely travel to all these different destinations, I almost feel like these times have been back, but in a very, very different way, in a much more happy way. Now, I also want to say that this peaceful reunification of Germany, both parts of Germany, enabled me to come to California to meet Rudy and Jimmy Murphy and start our labor of love, our company, AmaWaterways. And with this, I would like to propose our very first toast. And I hope you all have a beer because this is Bavarian hour right now. And so please raise your glass together with us. Here is to a peaceful future and the time coming soon when families will be able to enjoy a safe reunion with distant friends and family members, all in good health and spirit. Prost.
Prost, everyone.
Prost.
Okay, to sip and sail, very appropriate right after a cool beverage. On our ships, we include beer and wine with your meals, champagne with breakfast, and an hour prior to dinner, all the guests on the ship join together and we have an open bar, a sip and sail, a cocktail hour for everyone to mingle, have conversation. We'll have even a specialty cocktail available, but it's really a nice time for everyone to get together, meet, discuss about the day's activities, meet new friends, and it's one of the highlight experiences. that we offer on the cruising. I'd like to point out one thing, is after dinner, after the beautiful wines we serve on board, if you want a cocktail at that portion, you can sign it to your room. But because on AmaWaterways, and you're going to see it in this webinar today, our ships will either overnight or depart very late, and over half the guests go ashore and experience a Colts beer or a great Pils beer in the local town with the locals, and that just adds this wonderful flavor to the whole experience. But it's a great opportunity to meet the guests in our Sip and Sail program.
Thank you, Gary, for explaining this so well. It's really one of the best hours on board. And now, at this time, I would like to welcome a very, very special guest.
Debbie, you joining us?
Hi,
There you are.
everyone.
Hello, Debbie. Now,
Hi.
we are so happy to have you. Debbie, you are our most senior cruise manager. You have been with our company, AmaWaterways, for more than 15 years. It was in 2005, shortly after we opened the company, when you came to join us. You have been in the travel industry since 2001. And I know you are so talented in so many respects, but here come also languages. You speak Spanish, English, a bit of German, I would say quite a bit of German, and Portuguese. You are originally from Argentina, and your husband is from Germany. And this is where you live now, in Bavaria, with your two beautiful daughters, 3 and 7 years old. And you are, of course, you remain with our company. We are so happy about this. And you join us from Bavaria today. And I know, Debbie, you love to dance and sing. We have been cruising many, many times together, where I saw you dancing, singing, and I know you always serenaded our guests. So thank you, Debbie, for coming and joining us today. And we have another special guest here today. And this is Matthias. Matthias Hiergeist, you are the head of tourism in Vilshofen. Hi, Matthias.
Hi, nice to meet you.
So great to have you. Schön, dass du da bist in German. So as the head of tourism in Vilshofen, of course, we have met so many times. You are serving 13 other communities on the Danube, from Passau to Deggendorf. That's the Bavarian Danube Valley and the monastery angle. You are in every Vilshofen festival. You don't miss a party, and every guest will be meeting you during the course of the cruise, the Upper Danube cruise. And the town of Vilshofen has hosted many of our ship questioning events for us. And going there feels like home. In fact, why did we really come together with the city of Vilshofen? It was your city when we had a low or high water situation, or both, many years ago, and couldn't dock in some of the other places anymore, that you welcomed us with open arms, gave us your home, gave us all the docking locations, and made us feeling completely home away from home. And we stayed with you. So thank you so much, Matthias. And now, Debbie, I think it is time that you introduce your very first video, which is so relevant today. And this is your most recent experience of Oktoberfest celebration with your family.
Hi everybody, welcome to Bavaria. My name is Debbie and I'm very honored and happy to be able to share with you one of Bavaria's longest traditions, our famous Oktoberfest. Despite the current situation, today in the city of Ingolstadt, in the heart of Bavaria, we are able to celebrate this very famous and old tradition. Every year, the last week of September and the first week of October, all over Bavaria, in the big cities and the small towns, festivals like this one take place. About 800 people can enter at the same time the festival. That's why we had to queue for a little bit, and then once we came into the entrance, we had to scan our phones to let the people of Ingolstadt and the organizers of the festival know how many people are coming in. A mask is required every time we're not able to keep the 1.5 meter distance, when we have to queue for drinks or food, or when we're queuing for the rides. You must wear a mask. And once we take those rules into account, we can just enter this place and start to have fun. You want to know more about this? Please join me. And from up here you get such a wonderful view of the city. The big attraction, or the most important attraction of this beer fest, are the big tents where people come inside and enjoy the traditional Bavarian beer. But now, these days, we are not allowed to have tents, so we have 2 beer gardens where people still can enjoy their beer, meet with friends, relax, and have a good time.
Well, that certainly looked like a good time. Matthias, what I really find special about how you welcome us to your city is that all year long we have an Oktoberfest. So if you're joining the cruise in Vilshofen or ending the cruise in Vilshofen, it's a great way just to experience that true Bavarian flavor. Now, my lederhosen actually, my brother is married to a girl from Bavaria, and they go to Oktoberfest, and he purchased these real lederhosen I'm wearing today. I borrowed them from him yesterday. And again, he says it was a magical, magical time. So Matthias, do you want to share some of your thoughts and experiences from Vilshofen?
Sure, I do. Okay, I also wear lederhosen, of course, like that. I have some beer. We need for beer fest, and I have some pretzel, of course. Oh, great, Gary. So, the beer fest with AmaWaterways is always a big experience. We have our special beer, our Pilsner beer, invited by our main brewer, Joseph Groll, in 1842. And it's a really historical beer town, Vilshofen. And so we can make a beer fest traditional with good original Bavarian music, with beer, with a beer queen in the middle, near the Danube, and just 50 meters of the historical center of Vilshofen. And we have all total together to have a good hospitality for your guests. Exclusive.
Matthias, I was reading about Joel. What's his last name? Groll?
Joseph Groll. It's the big man of Vilshofen, yeah.
That he was really the true inventor of Pilsner beer. I gather he smuggled the yeast out from Vilshofen and brought it up to Bohemian and blended it with their hops and created Pils, which I guess over 2/3 of the beer consumed today is Pilsner. So Vilshofen has a lot of rights to the claim of being the ones that introduced Pilsner to the world.
So it's right. The main town of beer is Vilshofen, not Munich. It's Vilshofen. We have always a good time in Vilshofen, and we have really good beer. Joseph Groll is the inventor, 1842, I said, of the Pilsner beer, and we like it really good. You enjoy it, and when you go to Vilshofen already, Kristin also, Debbie also, we like the beer. I also, sure. Oh, you have real Bavarian beer. Thank you, Gary. No, it's always a big time, a wonderful time with your guests. We celebrate last year 210 beer fests in Vilshofen, and I was there 170 times, and I really love it.
And Matthias, I didn't put mustard on my pretzel.
Thank you very much, Gary.
I learned in Bavaria you do not put mustard on your pretzels. It's
a fault. Yes.
We could not think about a better port and city than Vilshofen for our questionings, at least on the Danube River. We questioned there, you see in these pictures, the Ama Prima in 2013, the Ama Sonata in 2014, the Ama Serena in 2015, the Ama Lea in 2018, but before also the Ama Certo, and this was in 2012. And there will be many, many more questionings that we will do together. But no matter what, these Oktoberfests that you put together for us, for our guests, where all the locals are coming and we celebrate together, it's usually one of the highlights of our cruises. Thank you again, Matthias.
Thank you very much. It's also a very big happening for Vilshofen. Every year when your ships come to Vilshofen, we make the christening together. It's like being friends, and it's wonderful for the city, for the mayor, for the citizens of Vilshofen to have your guests in Vilshofen, and we always have a good party, always with beer, of sure.
And there's a maypole. Can you tell us a little bit about?
Yeah, sure. AmaWaterways is the first and the exclusive owner of the Vilshofen maypole. And there's a big tradition about it. Every 1st of May, we make the party, and the tree goes up, and it needs about 1/2 an hour to get this tree up. And then we dance and make music and drink beer. It's a big celebration. We have enough time to celebrate. It's not a fast party, it's a long party, and we enjoy it really good. Also exclusive for AmaWaterways, of sure.
I mean, for those of you who are on the call or joining us today and have not traveled to Germany or have not traveled to Bavaria, my first experience traveling to Germany was actually with AmaWaterways when we first started the company back up in 2002. And it is a magical, magical destination. It's one of those places you need to go to just for the culture, the joviality, just the people themselves. The scenery is spectacular. So again, it's a great place to vacation, especially on a river cruise. And there's not a better town you can start around your cruise in than Vilshofen. Matthias, thank you.
Nice work. Thank you, Barry. Oh, that's me.
Beer queen. So she's usually, isn't she a policewoman, and you made her a beer queen for us and for our guests?
No, the sister is police girl, and she's working at the bank, but as a beer queen, since 4 years ago, she started, Lisa, and she makes really a good job. And she also have a German Wirtshaus, a restaurant, Bavarian restaurant. She works also, and she likes beer. She have a good knowledge of beer, and she is really a beautiful girl and a good dancer to make lessons with your guests, with some dances.
And I know many of our guests take advantage of this and would just like to sneak a dance with her, right? It's so
right.
much fun. And then of course everyone is dancing. You know, it used to be under the tent, maybe in the future underneath the stars. We'll see how we will manage all of this, right? But there's always a way if we want to celebrate together.
Yeah, sure.
So let's enjoy the video.
So, we try to make some Schurblattler with your guests. We drink beer, make a toast, and drink real Pilsner beer. Dancing captains with your guests. It's really funny, it's nice. Beer Queen Angelina with Alex, the Hammerschmidt music, dancing. Sparkling beer, a cruise manager, getting hot. And that's our wonderful tent, the Beerfest tent for AmaWaterways. Also our girls from the Hammerschmidt Musi and Rachel without mustard. I also dance by myself with your guests. I make a good figure, I think so. And so we celebrate, make some photo. That's it.
And I know so many pictures. And I know our guests always say they want to go to Munich Oktoberfest, but our Vilshofen Oktoberfest is so much more special because it's so personal, and you are away from the big crowds. And again, the pictures just speak for themselves. But Gary, we both went to the Hofbräuhaus in Munich as well, right? And
Yes, we did.
lots of beer was flowing there. I don't remember that I was actually drinking 2 big glasses there, like it's shown in the picture. Not sure who took this picture.
But in the center photo in this picture, the lady wearing the white jacket, that's my brother's wife, Tanya, who's from Bavaria, and that's my brother right after her. My sister Susan is the redhead across. But anyway, they all went on a family cruise. I think it was late last year, actually, and that's where these pictures were from. It is just, again, a wonderful, wonderful evening.
Yes, for sure, for sure. So, Debbie, we all know how special Vilshofen is for us. And I know that you also came to Vilshofen to celebrate every questioning with us, with your little girls. So this very special port is near and dear to our heart. But yet it's not the only Bavarian place that we visit. Debbie, since you are our cruise manager, could you please take us on a virtual cruise to Bavaria right now?
Yes, of course, Kristin, and with pleasure. You know, when you join us for these itineraries, starting in Vilshofen and ending in Budapest, or the other way around, we have this option where you can purchase a pre and post cruise joining us in Munich. And Munich is the capital of Bavaria, a vibrant city. It's a big city. It's the most important city. It has a very important historical past, and it's also a very modern city at the same time. So if you join us for Munich, you're going to have a chance to stay in the city center and visit one of the most, or many of the most, attractions of the city. Now this slide, I love it because this is one of the highlights of this pre and post cruise. This is the hotel we use in Bavaria, which is the Bayerische Hof. And I just remember my last hosting there in November. It's just a fantastic hotel. It has such a long history. Every room looks different with this old traditional Bavarian style, but still modern style at the same time. And it's just such an amazing thing to see our guests coming in the hotel and look at their face, because it's just the hotel itself is a whole experience. Munich is a beautiful city. We offer a city tour of the city where within 5 minutes of the city hall. So you can imagine that you have such a freedom to move around, do the city tour, and then choose if you want to visit museums or the residence, or go to so many events and things that you can do in this city before or after you join our AmaWaterways cruise. So this is really a highlight. And one of the things that I usually recommend when we are going to Munich is to visit one of the most fabulous castles in the whole of Germany, and why not in the whole world, and that is the Neuschwanstein Castle that you can see now. We said that Munich was the home of the Oktoberfest, and the one that started with this long tradition, more than 200 years, is Ludwig I. But the grandson of Ludwig I, Ludwig II, the Mad King, built this amazing castle. He was obsessed with the Middle Ages and the Romantic times, and he had this beautiful castle built up on the hill in the middle of the Bavarian forest. And this is truly one of the highlights when you visit Bavaria and you come to Munich. We're going to tell you, go to this castle, because it's really a fantastic experience to go through the rooms, to experience the landscape, and it's just you have to do it. Neuschwanstein is truly a highlight. And it's not far from Munich. You just need to drive about 45 minutes, 1 hour, and then you're there. You can have a whole day tour going to Neuschwanstein, one of the many castles that Ludwig II had built. And when you're coming from Austria, the first town that you're going to enter in Bavaria is going to be Passau, the city of the three rivers. What I love personally about Passau is, like in many other cities, but the ship docks right in the heart of town. And you're literally 5 minutes away. You just get off the ship and you walk into the town center. A beautiful, beautiful town. It's a classical town. The town was burned in the 1700s, so they had to rebuild it in the style of those days. So you don't have medieval buildings, but more classical buildings. And what you're going to visit during our walking tour is the famous cathedral. It's one of the highlights, with the second largest organ in the world. But what I personally love about Passau is seeing the faces of our guests coming after the bike tour along the Danube or going up the hike to the fortress of Passau. I mean, it's not just a city tour, but also a hike and a bike tour. It gives you such a full experience of the town. So Passau is our first Bavarian German city that we visit when we enter Austria. Then we move on and we visit Regensburg. Regensburg is a bit larger city, and it has a complete different flair. You know, you walk in again, it's just 5-10 minutes from the ship, and you realize there's a change in architecture. You might feel a little bit like walking through the narrow streets of one town in Italy, because Regensburg was a very important port during the Middle Ages, and the rich Italians settled here. So they built these high towers, and that's what you get, you know, this Italian flair when you walk through the streets of Regensburg. The old bridge, I'm looking at it now, and it's really one of the oldest bridges in Germany. But I have to mention one of the highlights. Besides the cathedral and the oldest boys' choir, what you can visit in Regensburg when you are there, and any local and anyone coming from anywhere makes a stop at that little green building next to the big beige building to the left. That is the oldest sausage kitchen in the whole of Germany, more than 870 years old. They have been making sausages there for all that time. And when you come on our cruises, you have a chance to go there and, you know, just sit down at the banks by the river, have a beer, have a sausage, have a pretzel, and enjoy, you know. And that's what Bavaria is about. I need to talk about the Bavarians because they're very special. They are the warmest, they're the most fun, they're the laid backs, and that's the kind of thing that you experience when you come and you visit such places. So, Nuremberg, well, Nuremberg, I have to tell you, despite the fact that it's Bavaria, Nuremberg is a special place because Nuremberg is in a sub-area of Bavaria. Now, if you ask a German outside of Germany, where are you coming from? You ask a Bavarian, they won't say, I'm German. They'll tell you I'm Bavarian, right? That's how strong they feel about the heritage and the culture and the tradition. But if you ask a Franconian, where are you coming from? They're not going to say Bavarian, they're going to say Franconian. And that's how they strong they feel about. And Nuremberg is in Franconia. It's a beautiful medieval city with half timber houses, the old fortification walls and the towers, and a beautiful medieval castle all the way up on the hill. Nuremberg has a lot to offer, and it's definitely a port that you must visit when you come on our cruises on the Main-Danube Canal. And I'm going to tell you now a little bit about Würzburg, not so much, because Würzburg is not on the Danube, it's on the Main River, but it's still Bavaria. It's Franconia, but it's known for its wine. And I know, Gary, you're a big fan of Würzburg, if I'm
the Würzburg Palace there, that Bishop Palace, completed, I think, in 1744. It's like a beautiful, smaller Versailles, but I even prefer over Versailles. The gardens are spectacular, but what is truly special is the wine cellar under the Bishop Palace. It's recognized as one of the most beautiful wine cellars in the world. And Debbie, I remember we were down there in a group, and our guide kept counting us. Because it's so massive and it has this labyrinth of tunnels and caves, they were afraid we'd wander off and to never be found again. But it's a magical experience that when you're on a cruise with us, especially on one of our wine cruises, to go down there and taste one of those beautiful dry, Matthias, it's a Riesling, correct?
Sylvaner is more
Sylvaner,
from
right?
the area. The
But,
Sylvaner.
but it has a beautiful shaped.
The box bottle.
bottle.
Box bottle is the name of the bottle.
Yes, and I have a surprise for you because we have a wonderful video coming up telling you a little bit about Franconia from my colleague Lilo. So should we see it?
Hello, this is Lilo from Würzburg in Franconia. We Franconians are considered the other Bavarians, living more in the north. But we also like our traditional costumes and beer. Especially in the area around Nuremberg, there are hundreds of small family-owned breweries located. One of the very special varieties, for sure, is the smoke beer from Bamberg. Something our guests can sample when they are cruising the Main-Danube Canal. People say you need to have at least 3 sips to appreciate its special taste of smoked ham. But then you get addicted. And don't worry, they don't put ham in the beer. The smoky taste simply comes from the fact that the malt is dried over open fire. Franconia, however, shares another cultural heritage of Germany, the wine. The area around my hometown is one of the smallest wine-growing regions in the entire country, but we are producing very prestigious white wines. Look out for this typically shaped bottle, the Boxbeutel, and you're sure to have a high-quality wine. So, a glass of dry Sylvaner or Riesling is a must when you're cruising through the beautiful countryside of northern Bavaria. Cheers!
Yeah, that explains a little bit about, right, about how the Franconians feel about themselves. And my colleague Lilo was talking about Bamberg. That's a beautiful picture of the city. The many canals that have timber houses. Bamberg was a very important religious place in the past. But nowadays it's a live city, a lot of young people because there's a big university there. And most of the people that come actually come to taste that famous beer that Lilo was talking about. So there goes another city that we visit when you join AmaWaterways cruises. We visit this beautiful city of Bamberg. But I think that is probably now time to go back to Vilshofen. Really quickly, I'll take a minute to say, well, Matthias, you're there, but my link to the city, because Vilshofen was 2009, that's when we had our AmaLira first christening. And I can just have only wonderful memories about this time. The AmaLira coming into Vilshofen, all the people waiting, the band was playing, the kids were dancing. And all of these, thank you also, Hannah-Lore. Hannah-Lore is our main link to the city of Vilshofen, to Matthias and to the whole city. So I always remember dearly Vilshofen. It's always such a pleasure to come back. And it just feels like home to be back in Bavaria with our AmaWaterways cruises. So thank you, Matthias, for everything you organized for us there.
Thank you for your words, Debbie. Thank you very much.
All right. And I just want to say Hannah-Lore is a special part of our company. She is located in this area, manages a lot for us to give jobs on board our ships, a lot of storage, and really pretty much is the glue to everything in Bavaria. So now we have a trivia for you. And of course, we all wear dirndls here. And Debbie, can you get up? Can I see the bow?
Yes.
Because a bow on a lady's dirndl can say a lot about her relationship status. If you are a single lady, how would you tie the bow? Please select one. The bow on the right, the bow on the left, the bow in the middle, or the bow in the back. And we give you a little bit of time. And then, Debbie, we both will show our bows as well.
I am so curious about what people will say about this.
Woohoo!
Pretty evenly split.
So, Matthias, do you want to say something about this here?
Okay, the single ladies is bow on the left. It's the right answer.
So 25% voted for the bow on the left. And Debbie, show your journal.
Okay, I hope you can see that. How about you, Kristin?
Oh, so we have to turn, right? Because I have mine on the right, you have yours on the right.
Both are married.
Lucky me, right? Oh, right.
True. That's true. You know, Kristin, that yeah. So we in Bavaria, and I say we in Bavaria because I'm Argentinian actually, but I've been living in Bavaria for 12 years. And I have to tell you, although both my daughters are born in Bavaria, they're not considered Bavarian. And their kids won't be considered Bavarian. Only my grandkids will be considered Bavarian. So that tells you a little bit about this strong, you know, that, as I was telling you, this strong feeling for tradition. And but here in Bavaria, living in Bavaria, I get to wear my beautiful dindel for different occasions. I do have my winter and my summer dindel as well. And most people have also a fancy dindel, which you wear for special occasions like weddings and christenings and communions and so on. But it is true, when you look at a woman here in Bavaria and you look at their dindel, the bow says a lot. So if you have it on the right-hand side like me, it means that you're married or that you're in a relationship. So you're not really interested in, you know, looking for some companionship when you go to these festivities. But if you show it on or wear it on your left, it means you're single and that you're interested in meeting someone. Now we can also wear it in the front, and there is different versions out there, but I have to share the two most common ones. It actually means it's none of your business what my marital status is. You wear it right in the front. Or many say also that if you wear it in the front, it means that you're a virgin. But that's what some people say. Now, if you're a kid, if you're children, if you're a little girl wearing your traditional dindel, your Bavarian dress, and if you're a widow, you will wear it in the back. So this is how you can tell a little bit to the people looking at you what your marital status is. Something traditional from here.
I think, Gary, you want to talk about the lederhosen first with Matthias.
Well, I'm proud of borrowing my lederhosen from my brother, but is there a tradition behind the lederhosen also, Matthias, that I am not aware of at this time?
Leder is a big tradition in Bavaria and also in Austria. It's because the leder is really comfortable to wear. It's also for working, climbing on the mountains, and it's very good. You can wear it 2 weeks and it's no problem.
And is it deer
So
leather?
really
What's it made from? Is it deer leather?
It's deer leather, yeah. Real deer leather is the original.
Very comfortable, yes.
Yes.
So how often,
I might
Matthias?
keep them on for the rest of the week.
How often, Matthias, in addition to the Oktoberfest with us, do you usually wear your lederhosen for family or other celebrations?
Yes, I wear it, sure. Also for weddings or for family fests, and to go to the Volksfest or a beer fest. In Bavaria, in every little village, there is a Volksfest. In Vilshofen, in August, 6 days, from Friday till Wednesday, we have every day 2 big tents, and we share about 30,000 people for these 6 days. And so in every 5 kilometers, there's a time where it's a Volksfest from April till October.
And I think this is so attractive for our guests as well. Those local festivities, diving into the local culture. It's truly an immersion. And part of this immersion is are also the culinary delights. So Debbie, let's talk a little bit about those culinary traditions.
Before you start, Debbie, I think my pretzels are burning in the oven. I need to jump off the call for a moment. But Debbie, I can't wait to see you on a ship this coming year. It'll be spectacular. And Matthias, we'll have a couple nice brews together next time I'm in the beautiful town of Vilshofen in that gigantic tent we have. So thank you very much. But everyone else, please stay on. I just got to check on my pretzels. All right.
Okay.
Well, while Gary is checking on his pretzels, I can tell you about my pretzel. You know, one of the things that I learned when I came to Germany a long time ago, but also that is more important even in Bavaria, is the famous Stammtisch. So when you live in Germany, you might have a chance to be part of this old tradition, which is simply being part of a group that gets together and meet regularly. It might be once a week, once every 2 weeks, once every month, and goes exactly to the same restaurant every time they meet and exactly to the same table. And the table will have a sign. So if you're a regular customer to that restaurant, you may not see them on that special chair and that special table, because it's very important. It's only saved for those who are going on that day, that group of friends coming together. They might have something to eat, but mainly is getting together to drink and talk and have fun. Now, we're not going to any restaurants now, but I thought I would prepare a little bit some traditional Bavarian dishes. And I would like to start, well, you know, Gary went to pick up his pretzel, but here is mine. As the mom in Bavaria, you always carry a pretzel in your bag. And that's something I learned from a couple of friends. Exactly. The adults, the kids, everybody we just love pretzels, and you always have to have them around. And the other thing that's very typical, and that's something, as everything I'm going to explain now, that I experience when you come on board our ships, because of course, when you come to Bavaria, you must taste the traditional food of the places we're going through. And that's why when you cruise through Bavaria, you experience our Vilshofen. Now, Bavaria is full of traditions, and one of them is the Vilshofen. The Vilshofen is something that happens between breakfast and lunch, and it means that you're going to have a stop, have a snack, have a beer. I have here my favorite beer mug, and you're going to have some white sausages, which are here, and some sweet mustard, if you like to, right? There's a whole thing about the sausages and how you cut them, if you cut them, but you need to peel them. You don't eat the skin, you peel them. You can cut them. The Bavarian they say that you have to actually suck them, and you dip them in this sweet mustard, and you eat them like that, and it's really, really, really yummy. And that's something that you get to experience on board our ships, called the Vilshofen. Every time you come, you get to experience something like that. And I have also prepared another traditional dish. I have made this afternoon, and that is some dumplings, right? The favorite, some of the favorite meals of my kids are actually what I'm showing you at this moment. The Knödel is called in German. Now you can have them made of potatoes or bread or leather, but mine are made of potato Knödel. My girls love it. And I have the famous sauerkraut, and it's just not any sauerkraut, but I also added some bacon and potato and onions to it, so it's very tasty. And the famous Schweinebraten, that's pork flesh or pork meat. And because everything might be a little too dry, I also add some, of course, some dark sauce to all of this. You can see, and it's very, very yummy. And no calories at all, of course, very light. Bavarian food is very light, not,
Yeah.
but it's very tasty. And that's why so many people come to Bavaria actually to taste this famous food. So that's a little bit of the traditional dishes that we have here in Bavaria. We have many more, but a few. No.
So delicious, Debbie. I'm really, really getting hungry. And maybe this was the start of our wellness program, because we have such a fantastic Bavarian lunch on board right after the Vilshofen. So we are going from drinking, eating, drinking, eating. And by the way, there's also non-alcoholic beer on board, right? And non-alcoholic drinks for everyone who doesn't want to have. So I don't want to forget this. But yeah, probably after we are all done with this, it's time to either walk on the sun deck a few steps, or go into town, or, you know, do some stretches and some yoga later in the afternoon. So it's all up to us how we want to do it. Some want to do everything, some want to do nothing. And so with this, I now would like to raise the glass again, because we come to the end of our session. And from there, we want to go into our questions and answer them. So let's raise the glass, please. May you always be open to learning more about the world around you. And may the traditions that have united us in the past continue to inspire and delight many more in the generations to come. Prost.
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 So, and now I think it is time that we answer a couple of questions here. So let me just go. My office just texted me all the questions. And the first question is, Vilshofen looks like a fantastic place. How far is it from Munich? So thank you for this question. It's actually quite important. It is not far at all. It is about 1.5 to 2 hours by car or by motor coach, so driving, or 3 hours in case you want to take the train. So really not a big distance. So question number 2, are non-alcoholic drinks available during the Oktoberfest? And I think I just mentioned it, but Debbie, maybe talk about the Oktoberfest, not just our Oktoberfest in Vilshofen, Matthias, where we do have some non-alcoholic beer as well, right? And some other water, sparkling water, and some other drinks. But how is it usually in Germany when you go to another public Oktoberfest like the one in Ingolstadt that you showed us?
There's always non-alcoholic beer, Kristin. It's always available. So, and it's actually very common. You may think it's not, but the truth is that people are very aware about, you know, driving, for example, and having to go back home. And that's why usually, and I tell you from my experience, that one of us with Ben, my husband, one of us will not drink the alcoholic beer and the other one the non-alcoholic, because we need to drive home and we have kids, and we need to take them on games and rides. So you actually, you know, you need to be clear in your head. So of course it's available. Yes, always.
Yes, and I tell you what I usually do, funny enough, when I fly to my home country, Germany, from Los Angeles, and if I use Lufthansa, so when we are arriving in Munich, we have normally the breakfast, but with the type difference, it's not necessarily our breakfast time. So to prepare myself, I usually before landing ask for a non-alcoholic beer. So I don't want to have alcohol then, right? So, but I want to kind of incentivize myself. Now I'm in Germany, I want to have my beer. So funny enough, and Lufthansa is serving it, and I know many other airlines as well. And so let's see what the next question is. Do you offer Munich land programs during Christmas time? And yes, we do offer our land programs in Munich, also during the Christmas time. Now, this year is of course a different story, but next year, you know, we all hope to be back. And I know that the Christmas time cruise is already so popular. So many bookings have been coming in already. So thank you for this. Cannot wait to celebrate with all of you next year. And question number 4, Kristin, what is your favorite wine from the Danube? Now, that is also very nice that you asked, because I just opened yesterday a bottle of Grüner Veltliner. That's my favorite white wine from the Danube for Rudi, who is from Austria, who grew up in Vienna on the Danube. And he didn't know that I was able to organize a bottle for him here. So he was very, very happy about this. So, and I don't think we have any more questions here. That's at least all I got. Oh, I think no more. All right. So then with this, I would like to show you our next sip and sail hour. And this will be on November 19 at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we are tracing the Douro River, so Portugal and Spain, with our cruise managers, Abel, who is originally from Spain, and Luis. And Luis is from Portugal. And of course, you all know amore means love. And we love everything what we do. There's in fact so much love we pour into everything. And I believe that has made us the river cruise line of your choice, dear travel advisors, and the choice of your clients. Many of you have been on board our ships in the past and will come back, and we are very grateful for all your support. And we promise you we will always be there for you and with you. And I always say, it is the people, it is the partnerships that we form with Matthias and the city of Vilshofen, our cruise managers who are with us, their talents, their positive spirit, their gentle acts of kindness, the same with our crew members that make AmaWaterways what it is. Truly the most beautiful river cruise line where everything is done with a big heart. And the story continues. And of course, if we cannot see each other this year anymore, we are so much looking forward to welcoming you on board. And please contact your preferred travel advisor for any of our cruises along the Danube, in Bavaria, which Franconia is part of it, on the Main, on the Moselle, on the Rhine, in France, on the Seine, on the Rhone, in Bordeaux, on the Douro in Portugal, but also on the Mekong in Vietnam and Cambodia, and in Africa on board our Zambezi Queen, cruising between Namibia and Botswana, not far from Zimbabwe and Zambia, and just, you know, a stone's throw away from Victoria Falls. So thank you so much for your time with us today. Goodbye and auf Wiedersehen und bis bald. Tschüss.
Auf
Danke,
Wiedersehen.
Matthias. Bye.
Dankeschön.
Bye, Debbie.
Bye, bye, Matthias. Bye, Kristin.
Bye.